morning, ladies and gentlemen. Calling the case of CYFD New Mexico versus Kylie Forrest. Are both sides ready?
Ready for the people, Your Honor.
Ready for the defense, Your Honor.
You may begin.
Good afternoon. I'm Mia Mendoza, attorney representing CYFD in the case CYFD New Mexico versus Kylie Forrest. Ms. Forrest is here today because she neglected 3 children left in her care, leaving them unattended for several hours a week, or in the care of an unqualified caregiver, putting them at risk for harm and rightfully had her license suspended. Her attorney is going to undoubtedly share with you, Your Honor, that Ms. Forrest is a responsible employee of CYFD. From speaking with the CYFD investigatory social worker and going over Ms. Forrest's assigned treatment plan, I believe she should hold a substantiated report of neglect and no longer be allowed to care for CYFD children.
All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today you will hear testimony from the prosecution that my client, Ms. Forrest, has neglected the 3 minor children, Isaac, Judas, and Mariah, by leaving them unattended for periods of time in the morning throughout the week. Keep in mind that the state of New Mexico has deemed her worthy and responsible of caring for these children. The facts will show that Ms. Forrest has not neglected these minor children and is the responsible caregiver and foster parent that the state has deemed her.
The prosecution may call its first witness.
Your Honor, I call Robbie as my first witness. Rabia, can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Rabia Friedman, and I am the placement social worker for CYFD.
Thank you. Can you identify this document for me?
It's the treatment plan for Kylie Forrest.
Thank you. And Rabia, you created a treatment plan with Ms. Forrest, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Great. Can you tell me what kind of background the 3 children came from?
The children come from a background of neglect. Both parents were using heroin at the time of detainment.
Okay. Can you tell me briefly what were the main responsibilities in Ms. Forrest's treatment plan with the 3 children?
Mrs. Forrest was to provide a safe environment free of crime. She was to form a healthy attachment with children, and supervise children at all times when they were not in school.
Okay. So can you tell me a little bit more about the supervision required in the treatment plan?
Sure. Supervision will take place at all times when the children are not in school. Kylie will supervise the transport of children from her house to the arrival inside the bus. Once the children arrive from the bus, Kylie will escort the children from the bus stop to the house.
Okay.
And then children will either be in line of sight or accounted at all times, and this includes any location.
Great. Can you tell me what line of sight means to CYFD?
It means within the individual's vision.
I see several references to consistency in the treatment plan. Can you tell me what that means?
Sure. Consistency means fulfilling promises made to children, consistent parenting style with the same responses every time, as well as setting clear boundaries. So, for example, television can be watched only after homework is done.
Okay. So, Rabia, have you ever met Ms. Forrest's daughter?
No.
Is she an employee of CYFD?
No.
So she has never received CYFD training?
Correct.
Okay. And just for clarification, is the treatment plan a binding contract?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Would you like to cross-examine?
Yes, Your Honor. All right.
Proceed.
So, Robbie, you stated earlier that you went over the treatment plan with my client, correct?
Correct.
And she was in full agreement with this treatment plan?
Yes.
Are you aware of my client's financial status as far as her job goes?
Yes.
Okay. So does CYFD compensate foster parents for the extra financial burden?
Correct. So it's $17.20 per day per child, and that's roughly about $1,400 a month.
Okay. Wait, hold on. You just changed it. Damn it. Sorry. So are you? I have messed up now. So you're aware that my client only has one other source of income, and correct?
Correct.
And you thought it was okay to mandate the responsibility of taking the 3 minor children to PG movies, the zoo, the aquarium, and the museum at least once a month.
Objection, argumentative, and the plaintiff agreed to sign the treatment plan.
Sustained.
Right, in this treatment plan that you discussed, it says that the children are to be in line of sight of all times, correct?
Correct.
Are there any exceptions made to this rule? And what are they?
Yes, so when they're in the bathroom, when they're in their room, or when they're at school.
Okay, and you said line of sight that means that you have vision on the child at all times, correct?
Correct.
All right, are there any exceptions? Never mind. All right, that's all I want to ask. Are you aware of any laws that dictate a specific age that a child can be left alone?
Objection, the CYFD treatment plan, Your Honor, would supersede city ordinances.
Sustained.
Wait, what? No. Okay, if that's, hold on. Stop. Okay, whatever. No further questions.
The witness is excused. The prosecution may call its next witness.
Okay, I will call Natalia as a witness, Your Honor. Natalia, can you please explain who you are and your relationship to the foster family, Forrest family?
Yes, I am here on behalf of CYFD as the investigating social worker.
Okay. And you received a report of neglect, is that correct?
Correct.
Can you tell me about that report of neglect?
The report of neglect was reported to CYFD on October 5th, and it was phoned in from one of Ms. Forrest's concerned neighbors.
And you, after this report, went to visit the home.
Correct.
And what did you see?
I went twice. The first time that I went, Ms. Forrest was there. I briefly told her why I was there and about the report that was made. I also reminded her that she gave her consent to follow the treatment plan, and she violated it because supervision was not in place when the kids were dropped off or when they were dropped off from school.
Okay. And the second visit?
The second visit, I went in the morning around 7 a.m. Ms. Forrest was not there. The children were left alone. I knocked on the door several times. Finally, the eldest son came to the door and opened it, and I explained to him who I was, so he let me into the home. I asked him a series of questions, such as how long they had been there alone, how often did it happen that they're left at home, what kind, did they have breakfast, did they have lunch prepared for school that day, those kinds of questions. As I was in the home, I noticed things such as the house being a little messy. It wasn't dirty, but it was messy. There was laundry on the floor. The kids explained that they had frozen foods. That's what they mostly ate. They didn't have help on homework, and so Judas, the middle child, was able to finish his homework. And those are some of the things that I witnessed.
Okay. Did the children seem distressed to you?
Yes, they were bickering, so I would say they were distressed.
Okay. And they were left alone, so there was not adequate supervision the second time that you visited?
Correct.
Okay. And you substantiated the report of neglect?
Correct.
So do you feel, based on your observations and going over the treatment plan, that Ms. Forrest is a good match for CYFD as a foster parent?
As of right now, no.
And can you tell us, according to the CYFD handbook, what constitutes neglect?
Yes, I It constitutes the abandonment of a child by a parent, guardian, or custodian. Also, the failure of a parent, guardian, or custodian to provide a child with proper parental care and control or subsistence education, medical or other care or control necessary for the child's well-being.
Thank you. No more questions, Your Honor.
Does the defendant have any questions?
Yes. So, you mentioned that there was a lot of frozen food in the refrigerator. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Is there a specific meal plan that was put in play by CYFD on the plan with my client?
I understood that meals were supposed to be prepped.
Does it specify whether they're frozen or fresh?
No.
Okay, so in your expert opinion, does the majority of frozen food deem my client as any less capable of caring for the children?
Objection, leading question, and Natalia is not a nutritionist.
All right.
Sustained.
Does CYFD have a definition of messy or dirty house?
No.
Okay, so then in your opinion, the house was messy.
Yes.
Okay. And you said that you came to the house twice. The first time you visited with my client, how long were you there?
I was there approximately 20 minutes.
About 20 minutes. And the second time, my client was not there and you entered the house, correct?
Correct.
Does CYFD have any laws that allow you to enter the house with or without any extra supervision, like a cop or any official? Are you allowed to just enter the house by yourself?
If it's a random visit, yes. We are allowed to
Into the house,
enter the houses.
whether anybody's there or not?
Yes.
Would you say that 10 years of experience of hands-on something would make someone knowledgeable of that said interaction?
Objection, irrelevant.
My client's been doing, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sustained.
My client's been doing foster care for 10 years, and her daughter has been helping her for these 10 years. Her daughter has very intimate knowledge of the regulations of CYFD and the rules and procedures. So would you say that having that knowledge of 10 years of CYFD would make somebody an acceptable option to supervise children?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
The witness is excused. Does the prosecution have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready for its case?
Yes, I'd like to call my first witness, Kylie Forrest, to the stand, please. All right, Kylie, how would you please state to the court how long you've been doing foster care?
A little over 10 years.
So you enjoy this, I take it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you have any other financial burden in your house? Well, let me rephrase that. How is your job situation?
A little rocky right now. We're going through a large layoff within our company, and because of that layoff, it's required me to pick up additional hours. We were told that if we could not help the company by picking up the extra hours, we would also be let go.
Okay, did you inform CYFD of this?
No, I didn't, because it was only going to be for a short amount of time through the holidays.
Okay. Does CYFD give you extra money as compensation for the foster children that you tend to?
No, they don't.
They don't. Okay. So you don't do foster care for the money. Is that correct?
Absolutely not.
All right. And so it says that you would leave your daughter to tend to the children. How old is she?
She is 24.
Okay, and is she your biggest help with the foster children?
She is.
Does CYFD know that your daughter helps?
They do.
They do. Okay. And how would you describe your daughter around the children?
She's great. She's actually going to school for secondary education. She's got hands-on experience and knowledge with these children, and she's been present since day one when they've been put into my home. The children enjoy being around her too. She also goes with us on most of our extracurricular activities.
Okay. And would you explain to me what kind of emergency procedures or what safety procedures that you've put in place when your children are left by themselves?
Sure.
With your daughter, excuse me.
All of the kids know how to call 911. There's an emergency evacuation plan set into place to where they know how to get into or out of the home if something were to happen. There is a specific knock that the kids only allows myself and my daughter into the home. They can also evacuate to our next door neighbor, Mrs. Robinson, as well, if something is to happen. And my daughter lives directly down the street.
Okay. Now, when your children, so you said you mentioned you have the security system, correct?
I do have a security
And you
system
can
as
look
well.
at your children from that 24 hours a day, anytime, anywhere, anyplace?
Everywhere except for in the bathrooms and the bedrooms.
Okay. So when your children are getting on and off the bus in the morning and you're not around, do you have any contact with your children so you can supervise them to make sure they're safe?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Kylie, just for clarification, you said you don't get money from CYFD to take care of the children?
I don't get any additional for their extracurricular activities.
Okay, but you do get money, $1,400 a month to provide for the children.
Correct.
So did you complete CYFD's training requirements?
I did.
Okay. So are you aware that it is your responsibility to put the care of the children above all else?
Absolutely.
Because you completed the required training, you are also educated on child trauma, grief, and attachment issues?
Yes, I am.
Were you aware that the children came from a neglectful background?
I was.
So these 3 children came from a neglectful background. Would you consider leaving the children home alone not a hindrance to them rebuilding attachment?
No, they're
Objection. Leading question.
Sustained.
Did you collaborate on the treatment plan with Rabia?
yes, I did.
And you signed it?
Correct.
So you agreed to the terms of the plan, which include providing supervision, supervising homework, and transporting to the bus stop.
Correct.
And you were aware of these things, and yet you left the children home alone in the mornings and evenings, or had your sister watch them.
They're very rarely left home alone in the evenings, and there's always somebody that walks them to the bus.
But they have been home alone.
Correct.
Okay.
As of lately, since I've been required to work these additional hours. Before then, no.
Okay. So just for clarification, you did leave the children home alone.
Yes.
So was there ever a time then where you were not able to comply with the treatment plan?
Not that I was aware of until as of recently.
But recently you have not been able to comply.
Correct.
And did you report this to Rabia to perhaps revise the plan or obtain additional services?
No, because I had my daughter around to help as well.
And are you aware that CYFD offers respite services?
I was not aware of that.
But you attended the training?
I did.
No more questions, Your Honor.
The witness is excused.
You about to give your verdict, right?
Does the defense rest?
Yes, that's rest.
I've heard enough. Ladies and gentlemen, in accordance to the Abuse and Neglect Act, Mrs. Forrest clearly violated protocol. She did not inform CYFD of any changes to her employment, and she abandoned children under the age of 10 without a CYFD-approved person. The abandonment of children of foster parents is grounds for a license suspension. Mrs. Forrest's license will temporarily be suspended until she receives 12 additional hours of class in attachment and concurrent planning the first available weekend. Additionally, there will be 4 random CYFD home visits per month. The children will be placed in a temporary home until Mrs. Forrest receives her training. Court is adjourned.
That was only 18 minutes.
Oh.
Now, real quick.